Hello everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airguns with another tabletop video review for you today. And we're going to take a look here at the KWC K17 CO2 Blowback BB Pistol. This is the black barreled version. I kind of like the black barrel. I have reviewed the gold barreled version, and as you can imagine, the barrel is gold, so that's really the only difference. So this review is going to have essentially the exact same information, or a lot of it, maybe a slightly different take. I am going to be comparing it to some Umarex Glocks, and I'm actually going to do a little bit of a teardown of both of these. So I've got a Glock here that is a Glock 17, and it's actually a Gen 4 Glock in a steel BB with a very similar build, and I'll kind of show you how similar they are when I do that teardown and compare the two. In this video, we are going to go over specifications, details, pros and cons, and again, that teardown or field strip of this product. And before I get into the specifications, I just wanted to mention that this gun is available in our Canada Replica Airgun store over at replicaairguns.ca. I'll put a link in the description. All right, let's get right into the specifications. This is a blowback metal slide and magazine gun with a polymer frame. It uses 12 gram CO2 cartridges, shoots 4.5 millimeter steel BBs, has a 19-shot full-size dropout metal magazine that holds the CO2 as well. The KWC K17 has a 4.3-inch smoothbore barrel, shoots in single action only. It weighs in at about 1.68 pounds or 760 grams. I kind of feel like it's a little heavier than that, but that's what is claimed. There's also a claim of 300 and approximately 30 FPS, which is pretty close to what it should get when I do that field test shooting video. It also has adjustable hop-up, so we can take a quick look at that when I do a teardown, if I can get in there and show you that. And it does have that serial number style safety, although it isn't actually a serial number, but it's in the same place. You're going to find white dot sights front and back. And again, this is the black barreled version with the vented slide, and it can be field stripped, as I mentioned already. All right, before we do the walk around, let's do this comparison really quickly. So we have here, this is a Gen 4 Glock 17, and this is a full blowback gun. And you'll notice it looks like a Glock, whereas the K17 is a little different. It has a different trigger guard, different pistol grip. Slide is a little bit different, although they are similar. And you'll notice that the frame is a little bit different, but very similar. So put that aside for a second. We have here a Glock 17, and this is a Gen 3. And this is a non-full blowback gun, so it's got a slightly different magazine. It's not quite full blowback, a little different mechanism, sort of more of a double action trigger, single action trigger on this product. Both of these guns here are from Umarex, and they are Glock licensed. The KWC K17 is not Glock licensed. But that said, I will show you that the Umarex version is made by KWC. And how do I know that? Well, the parts match. So if I take parts out of the Glock, the Umarex Glock, right, I can put them in right from the KWC K17 right into the Glock, okay? So, and they're very similar. They've got slight differences because Glock wanted their plate on there, but if you look at the magazines, they're almost identical in how they work, just slightly revised on the bottom because Glock probably wanted them to have their Glock plate on there, just to give it that more added realism, being that it is a replica or licensed gun. So other things to take note here is if I field strip them, take the slides off of both of them, right? So here is the Umarex version, and here is the K17 slide, right? Let's find out if these fit. And what do you know? They fit, right? Everything works. All the parts match up on them, including the magazines, as I already showed you. So there's the Glock magazine. Let's put the KWC magazine in the Glock, right? And I can build this gun back up, and I can reverse all the parts, right? So there you go. So now you have the Glock 17 on the KWC K17 frame, right? So I've mixed them up here. I've put all the different parts. So that kind of goes to show you that this gun here, oh, that didn't work too well, that this gun is mix and matchable. I got to take that out first. That always helps. Let's see here. Okay. We'll get them back together now. Right. And actually, I should have showed you the hop-up. Well, we'll do that. It's pretty easy to do. Put that Glock aside here, and let's take this apart again, and let's show you the hop up. So there's the hop up here. Really easy to get at. I could take this barrel right out if I wanted to, but we're just going to leave it in there. Barrel comes out super easy, right? But you don't even need to take it out to get at the hop up. So that's kind of cool. All right. All right, let's put that back together. Let's take a quick look at this product. By the way, I didn't mention, this gun is made in Taiwan. Sort of missed that step. And it does come in a nice cardboard box. So this is the box it comes in. You'll see here, that's the gold barreled version. It says black on here, but you're looking at the gold one on the packaging. So that's how it's different, obviously, just the gold barrel, okay? So nothing too extreme. On the back, you get some specifications, okay? Right, model, recoil, hop up, caliber, ammo, safety, manual, materials, right? So 17 rounds. It says 17. I thought it was a little bit more. I thought it was 19, but it says 17 rounds, 12 grams CO2, meters per second there, which is about 330 FPS, okay? So again, .177 caliber BBs, full blowback action, really nice product. Let's take a walk around of this product and see what it looks like here. Okay, so we've kind of already looked a little bit at both the guns or all these guns on the table. We're going to focus in here on the K17. So we've got some marketing or branding here just to give you the caliber, but there's not a lot going on in terms of writing on this gun, which is nice. You do have a working trigger safety here, right? So that actually works, right? So if you don't have push it, it's not going to work. Okay, so watch. Not going to work. Works. So you have the white dot sights, front and back. It is full blowback action, so you can see right through the mag well, right down through it. Full blowback. So it's built like an airsoft pistol essentially. That's what it is. So you can get this in airsoft versions as well. It does have a slightly different trigger guard and pistol grip, as I mentioned, which makes it not a Glock, right? Even where the thumb rest goes there, you'll notice is different, right? So slides are different. It's got the cutout. Glocks generally don't have that. Okay. On this side, you can see here, got your KWC branding instead of Glock. Exactly the same mechanical interiors, right? Like I said, you can mix and match the parts on these guns. If you have a Glock from Umarex, same model, so the 17 Gen 4, then it'll work with this. At least I know that one will work. Okay. There's your magazine. And again, right, put your BBs in there. Got your follower, comes down, pop your BBs in there. CO2 goes in the bottom. So you do see it. If you pop it up, you'll see that it is a CO2 gun. That's a nice little advantage to the Glock, is you can't tell as much because the butt plate is covered. You don't see that CO2 screw, but you do have a recessed barrel. Similar on both. That's how close they look, right? They look very similar, obviously. Yeah, so that's pretty much it in terms of, you do have a little bit more writing on this side. You do have the serial number there, and I was mentioning earlier that you have the safety here on another serial number. This is generally going to be a serial number on guns, but in this case, it's just a switch. But you could, in some real guns, have an actual serial number there as well. So that just switches back and forth. They tend to be pretty tight, but this one's not too bad. Okay, so if you want to put it in safe mode, you can very easily. All right, let's talk pros and cons and finish up this review. There's really good weight to this gun. I personally think it weighs a little more than what it said, about 1.7 pounds, but it's not super heavy, so it might be in there. I don't think it's exactly 2 pounds, but I feel like it's a little closer. Anyways, we'll go with what the specifications say. It does have that full blowback action, which produces a nice heavy recoil. And you also have that full-size dropout metal magazine that holds all the BBs, which is either going to be 17 or 19 rounds. I guess I'll find out when I do the field test shooting video. But I believe I've already done a review for this gun, so you could look back at the gold version, and I probably mentioned what I got when I did the field test video there. So you can check that one out. But it's either going to be 17 or 19. There's no real ugly markings, a little bit of white on there, but not much. There's no like warning instructions all over this product, standing out a little bit too much. And I personally like the black barrel version over the gold barreled version. I just think it looks more, like a product you'd probably see in real life. And of course you can field strip it just like the real steel version, as I showed you. You also have those white dot sights front and back for easy target acquisition. And that easy to get at adjustable hop up, just by removing the slide. You can get at it really easy there and adjust the hop up slightly. Although it's not going to make a huge difference with steel BBs, but it can help a little bit. Some of the cons, The full blowback action will produce lower FPS and use up more CO2 naturally. And it kind of would have been nice if that butt plate was covered, just like the Umarex Glock version. Kind of adds a little bit to the realism. That's just a tiny little con, not a big one. And that's kind of it. This gun really has a lot going for it. And from what I remember, it performed pretty well in the field test. So we'll redo that again. Why not? It's always fun to shoot these guns. Maybe that black barrel will perform differently. I don't think so, but we're going to do it anyways. All right, I want to mention again, this product is available in our Canada Replica Airgun store, but we do have a whole ton of products in both our Canada and US stores. We have air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and other accessories. So if you're interested in other products, maybe not this one, then check out both those stores over at replicaairguns.ca for Canada and replicaairguns.us for the US. Also, come on down to replicaairguns.com for articles, post reviews. All right, thanks again for watching. Until next time, take care.